So this is my new car. I've just collected it, it's just arrived. It's a bit muddy because that's thanks to the road that's just come up. But here it is, it's in one piece. This is as it's arrived, so I've not touched anything yet. And I'm just looking around just to see what the general condition of the car is in. So I think first of all we'll have a look at the sills. So the wings could be a lot better on this vehicle. They've obviously been off at some point before, but in general these sills, they don't look too bad. I've seen a lot worse after doing a spot of research on the internet. These rear quarters again, this one don't sound too bad, but the other one on the other side is completely full of filler, I think, around here. But again, these sills, they don't look too bad, so I reckon we should be able to reuse that. It's not run for 2 years. It's been stood. It's not run for 2 years. It's been stood for 5 years. So this door is a bit stiff, but I've just put some WD-40 on it, hoping that will sort out the problem. This is inside the car, so I've just worked out which key does what. The clutch pedal is a bit stiff as well, but I reckon with a bit of use that should come back to life without much trouble. It's clocked 23026. How genuine that is, no one knows, because there's not really a lot of history with this car. But the general interior, it seems alright. There's nothing that's nothing that appears to be too bad with it. The back of the car, we've got, this is a 2+2 model, so we've got a back seat, but the back seat is currently not in position. But I think with me driving, there'll be no one going in the back anyway. It's got seat belts, which is a surprise for a car this age. Interior light, it's got all the good stuff, you know. I think at some point as well it did have a heated rear window, but that's no longer in place. You can just see one line on there where that was. So that's inside. I'll just pop the bonnet. The bonnet pull is down there, like that. So that's the engine. I don't know if it's the original yet, I've not checked the number, but it definitely looks like it could be a bit better. But I reckon it should run. It did have a lot of money spent on the engine about 5 years ago, which I've got the invoices for, which are in the documents on there. Take you around to the back. I've still got my towing plate on. Lift the back door. That's the back seat. That can come out. I'll put on that box. This looks like the tool bag, so we've got a jack, which looks like it's seen better days. And on this is the spanner for the wheel nuts. So on these you just have one great big wheel nut on there, and that holds the wheel on. This must be the tool bag, and I think that can be thrown away. I don't think we've got much use for that anymore. I'll save it down there for now. Got boot carpet. There we go, get rid of that. Quite a lot of hairs on that, so we probably had dogs in here. And then underneath here we've got a spare wheel, piece of rag, and down here we've got Red X lead replacement, so that shows that the head's not been converted to run on unleaded fuel. screen wash, brake fluid, more screen wash, and whatever this is, super dispenses moisture, lubricates pen, so it's basically cheap WD-40 that. So what we've got here, we've got another bit of rag, nice, and then I imagine that comes off of here, and this allows us to take the wheel out. It's as flat as a pancake, that. Boot floor looks in good condition, it's got a good ring to it. So that's that. I can't see anything else that may be of interest in here, so I'll put that back for now. Can't smell petrol, so that's either a good or a bad thing. It either means that there's no petrol in it because it's all leaked out, or it's just not leaking. I'll put it on later. So, on the whole, it looks alright. This has got the I don't know what you call it, a sunroof, I imagine. And to open that, looks like we have to pull that down. There we go. And then spin that round, and then pull it back like that. There we go. And this must go up like that. There's a wind deflector, sun visors. It's got everything, this has. Right, I'm going to have a play around for half an hour or so, and then I'll come back with another video. So I've now got a battery connected to this thing, and I've had a bit of a play about with it. So I've turned the ignition on. The fuel pump does, well, it was working a minute ago, and we do have a warning light on there. We've got screen wash. That's that. That one is the wipers. They're working. 2-speed there as well. That's all working good. That one, that'll be the heater. That one is irrelevant at the minute. They're the lights, so we'll see if we've got any lights coming on. I know we've got one reversing light. We've got two one side lights, and all tail lights, so that's good. So it shows there is some life in her. We've got no horn, we've got no high beam flash, but we have got indicators that don't flash. Flash. I'm just going to try this one here, which I think is a panel light, which I don't think that appears to be working. No, I can't see it, so that's not working. Turn them off for now. There's a light over there which doesn't appear to work, but these could all be bulbs, I don't know yet. We've got a radio, so we've got a reversing light. But the crucial thing, we haven't got starter, so I'm going to go and investigate that next. Right, I've just made a couple of developments on the MG here, in the sense that before, when we turned the ignition switch, nothing, oh, this just gets better. We got ignition, but we'd not got any power to the starter motor or horn. I've just flashed the lights. I've got the blue light coming up on here now. That is brilliant. I've not got a flashing indicator, but I'm not too worried about that yet. But anyway, it now cranks over like that. I'm not going to run it too much because I've not changed the oil yet. We've got working horn like that. And what I've done is I've used my power probe, which is the thing on there. So in other words, that connects directly to the battery, and I can fire 12 volts directly through any wire I want. And I've got a wiring diagram, and I've found that the red and white is power from the switch, and the brown and white and brown is power to the starter motor. So I'd got power from the switch, and I could turn the starter motor with me power probe, which led me to believe that the relay was the bit at fault. So I've changed the relay and everything's working brilliantly. There's a bit of heat in the coil, which is expected because it's not firing any voltage out of it because it's not running yet. So that's obviously expected to happen. So my next job is going to be to have a quick look at the carburetors and get fuel up there from the tank, and then we can fire it. So my next job is currently changing the oil. The old oil is draining out, hopefully. Now traditionally, when I go anywhere near oil, it ends up absolutely everywhere. So I'm all set up. It's still draining out the bottom at the minute, but and it's all gone in the tub, so we haven't spilt any, but it's time yet. That's the oil filter there. That's the bit I want to change, and this is the tool I'm going to use to change it. And this is a fantastic tool in the sense of place it on the top, turn it anti-clockwise, and then get a 14mm socket on the ratchet, like so. And then as I turn that, it will turn the filter. Now the bit that's really annoying me at the minute is that I'm changing what is brand new oil. Put that to one side, we're done with that now. This hasn't been anywhere since it last had an oil change. I say that, it may have been run for a couple of hours, but that could be a lot darker than that. So yes, that's pretty much a brand new filter, that, and it's going in the bin. I'm just doing a sniff test as well, just make sure there's nothing that shouldn't be in there, which there doesn't seem to be. Now I was under the impression that there was 2 oil filters on an MGB, and there doesn't appear to be on this one, so that's an even better thing that I've only had to buy one. So there we go. I've just thought that a lot of the oil will actually be in the oil cooler, which is the pipe. That's what the pipe is there. So we're not going to be changing all of it, but the majority of it will be new, which is the main thing. So I'm going to make sure I've got a nice clean face down here, then I'm going to bring the new filter and put it in position. Right, so the new oil filter, that's it. I'm not spending too much money here, this is just a cheap one. Take the seal off, get rid of that. What I'm going to do is put some oil around the seal just to help it seal inside the thing. So I'm going to use a bit of this old that's still lying in there, run that around there, and screw it back in place without getting it cross-threaded, hopefully. There we go. Normally I would fill the oil filter up first, but I can't because it's upside down. So that's that. So this is the carburetor side of the engine. I'll get the tripod to stand, there we go. So, twin SU HS4s as far as I'm aware. I don't know exactly what they are. I'm going to go in off what it says inside a very inaccurate book. So that aside, what we've got is we have got a, that's the choke the choke control, and the one behind it is the throttle control. These, in the history for the car, these are down as they've been rebuilt. So, and if we look inside it, it looks pretty clean in there. I suppose it should. Look on the air filter. This is one of the air filters. It looks a clean filter inside there, although I've not had this apart yet, so I've not checked properly. But anyway, I will do that shortly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the float chamber top off and then see if there's petrol inside it, and see if we can get some fresh petrol inside it. So, screwdriver. 3 screws. This tag that's on here, that identifies what type of carburetor it is. It's AUD 325R. Oops. Smell petrol. Take the pipe off, I think. Right, turn the camera off for a while. Right, so I'm just going to spray some double T inside the bores. Double T is like WD-40, but a lot cheaper. So that's them 4 done. I've took the plugs out, and I've got 2 that look good and 2 that look bad. So it could be that the carburetor on our left is not running quite right. That one's alright, but these 2 are black, which I think probably suggest there's either oil in there or it's running a bit too rich. So I'm not particularly bothered about that at the minute. I'm going to give them a clean with a wire brush and pop them back in, and then we'll give it a try. So I'm happy that this engine turns on its own. So I'm now going to just crank it over and see if we get any oil pressure on the gauge. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Why is that? So I've tried charging the battery up, we've put the plugs back in, and we've now got oil pressure. So, well, we did have oil pressure a minute ago. There we go, it's offered to fire. That's excellent news, that. Come on. Oh yes, excellent job. Counter. Oh, there we go. It's going now. That's excellent news, that. It's all the smoke. not clever, but anyway, she's a runner. I'm well pleased about that. So we can start fixing her up and getting her back on the road. So I've had her running 5 minutes or so now. We've got some water temperature building up there. I've not attempted to move it yet because the clutch pedal's sticking slightly, but she's now idling on without choke. So this is a good sign. And she'll push her rev up. Oh yeah. I'm well chuffed after that today. Well chuffed. Right, best turn it off, else I'm not going to be here for much longer.